Welcome back to MSNBC. I'm Stephanie Rule, live in Washington, D.C. President Trump today responding to reports that special counsel Robert Mueller is looking into whether he tried to obstruct justice by intervening into the probe into Russia meddling, calling the probe, quote, phony. I want to bring in MSNBC political contributor and politics editor at TheRoot.com, who has traveled far and wide to be here this morning, Jason Johnson, and MSNBC analyst and former Bush-Cheney senior advisor, Robert Trainum. Jason, you had to travel so much, but still I'm not going to let you go first. Robert, the president already tweeting this morning saying that there are people involved in this investigation who are bad. Help me understand. What could the president's motive be here? Does he think he's going to spook them, scare them?
Well, I hate to say this, but that's very predictable of the president. We know that's part of his nomenclature. We know that he over-exaggerates things. We know he says those things. I would have hoped that this would have been a presidential moment where he would have restrained himself and said, you know what, don't say anything at all. Just not say anything at all. To your earlier point, Stephanie, he was very presidential yesterday. That was a scripted moment. One would think in this moment that he would have been even more restrained, but we know that's not the president. So let's not even try to pretend this here.
What is your reaction to all of this? The president seeming to double down on this, and there's so much reporting. I've spoken to people in the White House who are saying, I'm not even sure if he did anything with Russia, but he's his own worst enemy right now.
There needs to be someone in the White House like the BBC mom who just like leaps at him whenever he's going to go for his phone, because I actually think he makes this case he makes it worse every single time he speaks. You look at the criminal code for obstruction of justice, it says endeavor. That's really broad. If you're tweeting every day that this investigation is garbage, that the people are bad, you are endeavoring to at least stymie or at least freeze or concern people about the investigation. He is doing exactly the thing that he's now being investigated for, and that's going to come up as a problem later on when we eventually get to the end of the investigation.
Yeah, but here we are armchair quarterbacking. I've worked in the White House. It's really, really, really hard to tell the president what to do. I've seen members of Congress walk into the Oval Office that get weak-kneed. It's just the very nature of the office. And so I'm not sure, maybe with the exception of his kids, that could say, Dad, stop it.
Why do you think that, why do you continue to think, his kids are going to say this to him? I mean,
because they're family, and history has proven.
We're reporting this week that his kids, Jared Kushner, thought that meeting he had with his cabinet members, the hello, my president, who I worship, who's the most wonderful, handsome human on the planet Earth. Jared thought that was a good idea. Ivanka thought it was good messaging to tell Fox News that D.C. is far more vicious than she thought when her dad can widely be considered the bully in chief. So why is it that you think his children are going to be the voice of reason
Because
here?
History has proven that family members are the only people that can tell the president what's actually wrong. Nancy Reagan did it with her husband.
Great point.
Hillary Clinton did it, and so forth. George W. Bush did it with his father. My point simply is that family members, they have no drama, they have no baggage. They can tell their parent or the president, stop it. You're doing irreparable harm.
You're looking me in the face and saying that the Trump family has no drama?
Well,
are you saying that to me right now?
I'll take it back.
Yeah, and here's the problem. It's like you've got his son, Donald Trump Jr., basically reinforcing those same bad attitudes. Everybody out here, they're not real people, they're problems, et cetera, et cetera. I think his family is complicit in some of his poor behavior, and at this point, everyone in the White House who's not a family member is thinking, I don't want to get caught up in this investigation. He's not listening to anyone, and the people closest to him, they're not doing their job.
We have to leave it there. I point out that it was Don Jr. who over the weekend made it clear when my father says hope, he's not asking you, he's telling you. And to Eric Trump, who tweeted yesterday that the mainstream media, i.e. MSNBC, doesn't talk about the markets, my friend, we do. And I welcome you to come on any day of the week and talk to me about the global markets. I'd love to have you. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Coming up, much more on yesterday, not just this investigation, but we got to talk more about the tragic shooting. Vice President Mike Pence tweeting out this picture just moments ago as he met with doctors who are treating the victims.